Hey, this is Super Game Ghost, and you're watching the 10 worst Game Boy Color games. Let's start.
Number 10.
WWF Betrayal is a beat-em-up developed by WayForward Technologies and published by THQ for the Game Boy Color in 2001. Players can choose from 4 popular WWF wrestlers: The Rock, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, and Triple H. The game's premise is that you must rescue Vince McMahon's daughter Stephanie from kidnappers in exchange for a shot at the heavyweight title. Sounds cheesy enough. The game can be beaten in about 30 minutes and there's nothing particularly unique about it, other than the lame-brained AI and semi-responsive controls. You're really better off playing Double Dragon or River City Ransom instead. I can really only see die-hard wrestling fans possibly enjoying this game. WWF Betrayal has a score of 5.5 out of 10.
Number 9.
Pong: The Next Level was developed by Supersonic Software and released by Hasbro Interactive in 1999. The core mechanics of Pong remain, with players controlling paddles to hit a ball back and forth. However, Pong: The Next Level introduces new game modes, obstacles, power-ups, and varying paddle sizes to enhance the traditional gameplay. Even with all that, this is really just a bare-bones Pong game with one game mode that's almost interesting. The thing that's really missing from this game is the fact that it's on the Game Boy Color. The Windows and PS1 versions of this game have much more features, including multiplayer. Fortunately, with the GBC version, you're stuck with a single-player experience. Pong has an average score of 5.4 out of 10.
Number 8.
Godzilla the Series Monster Wars is an action game developed by Crawfish Interactive and published by Crave Entertainment in 1999. The game is based on the animated television series, which itself is a follow-up to the 1998 Godzilla film. The game features a variety of environments inspired by locations from the animated series. Each level includes enemies ranging from other giant monsters to military forces which you have to destroy. The problem though is that it's hard to aim with Godzilla's projectile move. Enemies move a lot faster than you, and your projectiles usually end up missing. If you manage to miss a few enemies, then you're most likely dead. I don't ever remember Godzilla being this weak. Godzilla has an average score of 5.3 out of 10.
Number 7.
Animorphs is an action-adventure game developed by Runny Fun and published by Ubisoft in 2000. The game is based on the popular Animorphs book series, which follows a group of teenagers who can morph into animals to battle an alien invasion. Have you ever wondered what Pokemon would be like if they used real animals from our world? Well, look no further. This game is a blatant Pokemon ripoff. The only difference being that you are morphing into animals that you encounter instead of catching them. I was actually getting into this game until I accidentally did exactly what the game told me not to do. Why do I get a game over for demorphing? And now I have to start from the very beginning? What the f? Some of the attacks you're able to perform as an animal don't really make sense for that particular animal. For example, a dog has a scream attack and the hippo has a punch attack. I mean, I knew that dogs could bark, but I didn't know that they could also scream. Animorphs has a score of 5.2 out of 10.
Number 6.
X-Men Mutant Wars is a beat-em-up game developed by HAL Corporation and published by Activision in 2000. Players can control 5 different X-Men: Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, Gambit, and Iceman. When an X-Men is defeated, then you assume control of the next one in the exact order I just mentioned. The game itself is a rinse and repeat process of defeating very similar enemies from one screen to the next. There are power-ups that you can obtain throughout the levels, but I don't even know what they really do. And every now and then you will face an underwhelming boss. The most annoying thing about this game is how almost any enemy attack will knock your character down. Also, the game will abruptly pause for about a second every single time you pick up a heart that replenishes your health. Mutant Wars has an average score of 5.1 out of 10.
Number 5.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer is an action-adventure game developed by GameBrains and published by THQ in 2000. The game is based on the popular television series which follows the adventures of Buffy Summers. This game is unbelievably easy once you learn that the best way to kill every enemy is to trip them and then use your insta-kill stake attack on them. even the bosses.
I'm like a superhero or something.
The one thing that's okay about this game are the sound effects. Everything else is just garbage. The controls are usually unresponsive, the cutscene dialogue between missions is long and drawn out for no reason, the graphical representation of the Buffy characters during those cutscenes look like a preschooler could have drawn them, and the levels are long and repetitive with the exact same enemy to beat 15 to 20 times. Yeah, just a very disappointing game. Buffy has an average score of 5 out of 10.
Number 4.
Galaga Destination Earth is a shoot-'em-up game developed by King of the Jungle and published by Hasbro Interactive in 2000. For the most part, the objective is to shoot down waves of incoming alien enemies that fly in formation and attack the player. This might as well have just been a port of the original game, as the newer features don't add much to the game. Yes, there are bosses at the end of some stages, but it really doesn't change the fact that this game is just way too easy. Not only is it easy, it's also extremely repetitive, and it lacks any sort of depth. This is a lukewarm gaming experience at best. Galaga has a score of 4.9 out of 10.
Number 3.
Mortal Kombat 4 for the Game Boy Color is a fighting game developed and published by Midway in 1998. It is a portable adaptation of the arcade and console versions of Mortal Kombat 4, which marked the series' transition to 3D graphics. However, due to the hardware limitations of the Game Boy Color, this version retains a 2D fighting style while attempting to capture the essence of the arcade game, and I can honestly say that it has completely failed at doing that. This game is nearly unplayable just for the fact that there's this weird, mind-numbing music that plays over every part of the game. The controls responsiveness isn't there, the characters' portraits and sprites look terrible, and really the whole game looks like crap. But what could you really expect from a Mortal Kombat game for the Game Boy Color? I feel really sorry for anyone who bought this expecting a halfway decent game. MK4 has an average score of 4.8 out of 10.
Number 2.
Men in Black the series is a side-scroller developed by Tiertex Design Studios and published by Crave Entertainment in 1999. This game is actually kind of hard, and not because it's a challenging game, but because the controls have something like a few milliseconds of delay. So aliens will come at you faster than you could ever shoot them down. Like most of the games on this list, the levels are extremely repetitive, and you are forced to watch a cutscene every time there's a transition into sub-levels. The most disappointing part about this game is that you are able to perform a special move with your gun, where you quickly shoot 5 times in a counterclockwise motion. Yet there's no way to shoot diagonally or crouch quickly enough to shoot at enemies that are in awkward positions. I really regret the 10 minutes I spent playing this. This game is complete garbage. MIB the series has a score of 4.6 out of 10.
Number 1.
Shrek Fairy Tale Freakdown is a fighting game developed by Prolific and published by TDK in 2001. The game is a 2D fighting game where players choose from various characters from the Shrek universe to battle against each other in a series of one-on-one matches. I'm actually a little bit confused about this one. This game is actually not too bad. The number 2 and 3 spots on this list I could have easily seen as the worst game for the GBC. But I don't know about this one, I actually kind of like it. It has some sort of inexplicable charm. And it's Shrek, like come on, how can you hate Shrek? For a 2D fighter on the Game Boy Color, I think it holds up pretty well. Every character even has at least one special move which is unique to them. The video game journals that gave this game a bad review are completely out of touch with this one. Moby Games' average score for Shrek Fairy Tale Shakedown is a 4.5 out of 10. However, my score, and the real score for this game, would have to be at least a 9.5 out of 10.
Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos.